Good morning, everyone. This is Mrs. Scott, and I thought today that we could do something with this book that's called Possum, Coma, Knockin. And here you can see a picture of a little possum standing outside of a door, a little scraggly cat back here. And for this activity today, you're going to need something that makes a nice knock, knock sound. So take a minute, you can pause the video if you want, and find something that you can make that sound. Knock, knock. Here we go. This book is by Nancy Van Lawn, and it's illustrated by George Booth. And even though it says this book belongs to Mrs. Hale, she did give it to me to use. There are some little possum prints, and knock, knock. More possum prints. That possum's laughing. Here we go. So every time you hear possum come a-knocking at the door, I want you to knock, knock. So we'll practice that once. Possum come a-knocking at the door. All right, I'm going to begin reading. Possum come a-knocking at the door, at the door. Possum come a-knocking at the door. Granny was a-sittin' and a-rockin' and a-knittin' when a possum come a-knockin' at the door. Ma was busy cookin' in the kitchen making taters when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. Pa was busy fixin' and a-bangin' and a-pounding when a possum come a-knockin' on the door. Pappy was a-whittlin' making play toys for the baby when a possum come a-knockin' at the door. Sis was tossin' baby while Pappy was a-whittlin' when a possum come a-knockin' at the door. Brother was untangling all the twiny line for fishin' while Sis was tossin' baby and Pappy was a-whittlin'. And Pa was busy fixin' and Ma was busy cookin' and Granny was a-knittin' when a possum come a-knockin' at the door. Coon Dog was a-twitchin' and a-scratchin' in the corner when a possum come a-knockin' at the door. Tomcat started sniffin' and a-spittin' and a-hissin' when a possum come a-knockin' at the door. What's that? Sis said. Don't know, Brother said. What's that? Pa said. Don't know, Granny said. But that cat, she said. That cat oughter go. Then Dog started sniffin' and a-pawin' and a-growlin', while the cat tail a-twitchin' was a-hissin' and a-howlin'. Making Granny stop a-knittin', and Pappy stop a-whittlin', and Baby start a-fussin', Sis and Brother start a-cussin', 'cause a little old possum was a-knockin' at the door. What's that? Granny said. Don't know, Pappy said. What's that? Ma said. Don't know, Pa said. Then I creepy crossed the floor and peeked under the door. Peeking under the door. It's a possum come a-knockin' on the door, I said. It's a possum come a-knockin' on the door. Then Brother came a-leapin', and Sis came a-runnin', and Baby came a-crawlin', and Dog started howlin', and Pappy was a-chucklin', and Granny's eyes was twinklin', as Ma followed Pa to the door. Now hush, Pa said. Now hush, Ma said, and slowly Pa opened up the door. Now y'all stop your hollerin' and your fussin' and your cussin', 'cause there's nothin' that's knockin' at the door. Did you knock? No possum, Pappy said. No possum, Pa said. No possum, Granny said. No possum, Ma said. Then we all started doing like before. Granny was a-sittin' while Pappy was a-whittlin'. Ma was a cookin', and Pa was a fixin'. Brother was untanglin', while Sis was tossin' baby. Coondog was a scratchin', while Tomcat was a lickin'. And I was just a sittin' and lookin' out the winder when I saw what I saw scoot up the old oak tree. A possum was a scootin' and a scramblin' and a danglin'. That possum that was knockin' made a fool out of me. The way I like to end this story, just so we get to knock, is I like to say, was the possum knocking on the door? Possum was a knocking on the door. All right, I hope you had fun with that book. If you like when we get back together, you might want to borrow it from me. On the back page, there's a great picture of all the people in it. Pappy, Ma, Brother, Coondog, me, the possum, Tomcat, Sis, Pa, and Granny. All right, I hope you have a nice day. I miss you all. Bye-bye.